In this video, we are going to look at some examples of what's called measures of central tendency. Essentially what we're looking at is we are looking at the ideas behind mean, median, and mode. Mean, if you remember, is your average, where you're going to add up all of your values and then divide by however many values you added together. Median is the direct center, and so what that means is you are going to order all of your data points from least to greatest, and then you are going to figure out where the direct center of those points falls. And then you have mode, and mode is essentially the idea behind how often data is being repeated. So your mode is going to be dependent on any data point who is being repeated the most. Okay, so your highest number. So in this first example, we want to find the mean, median, and mode for the data set. So the first thing you always want to do when you're given a random data set is you want to go in and you want to reorder your data set from least to greatest. So I'm going to go ahead and reorder these real quick here. Now there's no magical way to do this. There's many different approaches you can use. You just simply have to find an approach that works the best for you. I've seen things as simple as you cross out your number as you go. Just make sure that when you have ordered your data that you hit them all. Now, the way I like to double check and make sure I hit them all is I will count up the number that I just wrote down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then I will count my original data. Those numbers should match. So here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Since both of my sets of data have 12 in them, that's one indication that I know I didn't miss anything. Now that being said, that means my n value is 12 and is going to represent the total number of data points that you have to work with. So here the first thing that you would do is we would do your mean. Now your mean is going to be the sum of all the data points, and then you're going to divide that by your n value. So the sum of your data points is simply going to be, take your calculator and you're going to do 19 plus 21 plus 21 plus 28 and so on and so forth. So here you should come out with 383 divided by 12, which in this case is going to give me 31.9167. Here we're going to round to the nearest tenth as needed, and so this essentially is going to round to being 31.9. Now, with that, we need to find your median. So this is going to be, i.e., your middle value. So the easiest way to do that is to start at the smallest and the greatest side, and you're just going to count in on both sides until you hit the dead center. Now, notice in this case my dead center falls between 2 points. So when we're talking about the median in terms of an even number of data sets, so an even number of data sets means you are going to find the average of the two middle points. So in other words, what that means is we are going to take these two middle points, so we're going to have 29 plus my 33, and we're going to divide this by 2, and that is going to give me my middle value. In this case, we get 31 as a result. Now the last thing that we have is we have the mode. So the mode is going to be what occurs most often. In this case, we have a multimodal mode, and these are going to be the values 21, 28, and 42. If you notice, my 21 occurs twice, my 28 occurs twice, my 42 occurs twice. Since none of them occur more times than the others, we would list them all. Alright, let's do one more. So again, I have a data set. I'm going to go ahead and take a second here to reorder my data set. Alright, now that that's done, again, you can verify by counting up all of your data points and then verifying it with what you have here. In this case now, my n is going to be 11. So just like before, if I look for the mean, I'm looking for the sum of my data divided by my n value. So just like before, you're going to add up all these points together. So we're going to come out with 831. We're going to divide that by 11. In this case, we get 75.5. My median, again, is that middle value, but in this case, I have an odd data set. And what that means is that you are going to use your single middle. So we should have an exact middle. So if I start on either end and I go in, you'll notice that eventually we're going to come here to just a single value. And we end up on 77. So my median here is the 77 because it's the single most center point. And then in this case, in terms of my mode, if you notice, none of my values repeat. So this means we have none or no mode. Now, given a data set like these, it's just one example on how to find the mean, median, and mode for these problems. Another way that you could find it would be to use the relative frequency data. So what this is giving me here is scores and the number of times those scores occur. Okay. So here we can still again find the mean, median, and mode for those different data points. So if we're looking, the first thing I need to know is my total. So my total in this case is 31, and when we're looking at total, okay, so here my total, this is going to come from the scores. So what that means is that my frequency here is telling me the number of times each score happened or occurred. Okay. So in this case, a score of 1, well, I had that happen 3 times. So this is 1 plus 1 plus 1, and so on and so forth. So if I want to work at my mean, one way that I can do it is I can use my frequency. For example, I know my score of 1 times my frequency of 3 would have to be my first piece. Then I would have a score of 2 times its frequency of 1. I have a score of 3 times its frequency of 5. I've got my score of 4 times the frequency of 4. I've got my score of 5, which happened 6 times. My score of 6, which happened 8 times. And my score of 7, which happened 4 times. Now this whole thing is going to be over my total, which is 31. So when I complete my numerator here, I'm going to come up with 142 over my 31, which is going to give me a mean of 4.6. Now my median, again, is going to come from ordering my data. So I have these frequencies, and so one of the things that you can do is you can sit there and you can write them out. So I would have a 1, a 1, a 1, and then a 2, and a 3, a 3, a 3, a 3, a 3, and so on and so forth, to get all of yours down. And you would come in and find the median value, or the middle value. So in this case, your middle value should come out to be a 5. I highly recommend that you go through and order your data and double check to make sure you get the same median that I got. Now in this case, I have a mode, and I have, in looking at my frequencies, one score that shows up the most often, and that would be 6. So in this case, my mode is going to be, again, a multimodal, and it's going to occur at the value 6. Alright, the last example I wanted to look at says that John knows that his first 4 test scores were 84, 79, 82, and 88. We want to find the 5th test if he has an average of 83.8. So we are going to sum the test scores divided by the total number of tests, which is going to equal the average score. Okay, so that is what we're doing. So here I have 84 plus 79 plus 82 plus 88 plus some unknown divided by 5 total tests is going to give me 83.8. So in this case, I'm going to end up with 333 plus x is equal to 419. Now the way I get that is I have to multiply by 5 to move the 5 out of the denominator. So in this case, my x is going to be 86. And that's what we were looking for. So that is everything you need to get a jump start on using measures of central tendency in order to calculate the mean, median, and mode of different data sets. So I do hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.